What's up, everybody? Welcome to another video. So glad you joined us. Hopefully, you're part of this Saying No week. We've been having a great time getting a lot of work done here. So, with that being said, let's get right into it. Let me share out my screen for you. All right. So, once again, if you don't know me, my name is Rick. I'm a commercial real estate agent, a morning hero coach, and a very proud husband and dad. And a shout out especially to all of the morning heroes out there. You guys are amazing. You inspire me. With that said, we are talking this week about taking the easy route of saying no. And today's where the rubber meets the road. And I'm going to give you a really great framework for saying no. So, just a reminder, this is the third of a three-part series. It's based on this really, really good book. I really encourage you to get it. It's a very short read or a short listen if you use Audible. Part one on the series is why you should say no. And part two that we did yesterday was actually, saying no, actually doing it. And today we're going to hit the big one, how to not be a jerk when you say no. When somebody asks you for a favor, asks you for money, asks you to take on an extra project, how do you say no to them? Because you know you need to, but not look like a total jerk. So, getting into not being a jerk, tell me in the comments if you've ever seen this because I have, and it's amazing to me. Have you ever seen, and it's usually a guy, open a door for either a lady or a guy, and they don't say thank you, and then the person under their breath, or literally even not under their breath, yells the B word or the A word, like because the person didn't thank them. If it's going to cause you that much resentfulness just to open the door for someone, don't do it. It's not worth it. And I love this picture here because the guy on here, you create a whole story about like, maybe that guy got the girl, and you can tell he's not really that. It doesn't look that happy to be opening the door for them. So if it's going to make you that unhappy, don't do it. Another classic example that I hear about. I'm a guy, and I've thankfully never had this happen, but girls, including my wife, tell me this happens all the time. Is that when a guy buys you a drink at the bar, and um, if you accept it, and ladies, you all know this, but we guys don't. If you accept it, that means you have to give the guy like 5 minutes of letting him talk to you. So most of the time, girls won't accept drinks. But then if you say no to the drink, literally, and my wife said this happened all the time when she would go out with her friends. If you won't let the guy buy you a drink, then he'll start calling you the B word, asking you why you're so stuck up, blah blah blah. So there's a lot of negativity to saying no, and people can react to it. Biggest thing to remember, you're not in control of their reactions. You can control your side. I'm going to give you some framework in just a second here on how to do it in the best way possible. But once you're done, you're done. You don't need to spend your time worrying about like, oh, if I say no, it's going to hurt their feelings. They're going to think I'm a bad friend. I'm not being a good family member. You know what? The Bible says, and it's very clear on this, let your yes be yes and your no be no. And that's okay. So let's go on and talk a little bit about this. Here's a really great anecdote from my own life. So, in a former iteration, I used to sell pretty big home improvements for Sears. I would sell like 60, $80,000 kitchen remodels, 20, $30,000 bathroom remodels, new roofs, like really big ticket items, big investments in your home. And typically, I'm in San Diego, and my territory was all basically all the way up to LA. So I could easily have a 3, 4 hour drive out to someone's house. And I remember specifically, I had an appointment up near Palm Springs. So it was about a 3.5 hour drive from my house. And for some reason, this couple, I guess they were busy or working or whatever, they scheduled the appointment at 8 p.m. It was Sears policy. Normally, the evening appointments were supposed to be at 6. Sears would sometimes push them to 7, but it was Sears policy not to do it at 8. I don't know how this couple worked it, but I got my lead sheet for the day, and I'm up in Palm Springs at 8 o'clock. So I'm already thinking like, oh crap, man. Our appointments, especially if it's a complex one, the appointments run 3 hours. Shoot, I'm going to be getting out of there late. Man, I even called the call center. I said, will you please verify this? Because that's so late. And the call center called and they said, yeah, they want to see you at 8. So got there 8 o'clock. It's a big kitchen remodel. Back at that time, we had to do the blueprinting for it on the spot. So I'm doing all the blueprinting, working my butt off, measuring, helping them pick out colors and styles. And literally from 8 o'clock till it was definitely after 10 o'clock. So I remember I was having to use a special hotline to try to get them credit. Most people don't have 60, 80 grand for a kitchen remodel, but Sears had a really great financing. And back then, none of it was automated. So you'd be on the phone and you'd have to give over the phone the person's social and all their info. And it took about 45 minutes. So I'm on the phone from like 10, 15 to 11. Finally got them financed. They seem really happy, shake their hands, do all the paperwork filled out, leave their house at like 11. Got like a 3-hour drive home. I'm gonna get home till 1 or 2 in the morning, just exhausted. And then the next morning, I'm awakened by my phone ringing at 7 a.m., maybe 7:15. It's my boss, and he says, "Hey, Rick, that sale last night." And I said, "Like, yeah, Eli, man, I'm so excited. I that was like a big one, like 80 grand. The commission's gonna be big." And he said, "Rick, they just called to cancel." I was baffled. Like, wait a minute, they were so excited last night. What happened between 10 or 11 o'clock last night and 7 a.m. this morning? So we have a recovery team that would call when people canceled and try to save the deal. And they made a few phone calls and investigated. And they finally called us back and said, we talked to the couple and they said they didn't really want the remodel in the first place. It was too expensive. It's not in their budget. And so we asked, well, why did they go through all that trouble? The answer, I kid you not, was they felt bad saying no to you. They felt bad. You were such a nice guy. Like, really? These people if it had been 8:45, 9 o'clock, and they realized, like, no, this isn't what we want, man, I would have happily gone home. Happily. Would have done me a favor. And then think about it. These people opened a like $60,000 financing account. That's gonna be a huge hit on their credit. That's being a jerk. That was being a jerk. Like, I still remember them to this day because of like what a pain in the butt it was. So saying no is not being a jerk. Saying no, um, and I put this pun in here, how to note be a jerk, for my friend Nick. Hopefully he'll see this. Saying no is not being a jerk. It allows the other person to move on to a yes. All right. So we are going to move on and talk about 3 topics here. We're going to talk about assertiveness versus aggressiveness, postponing, and a couple other tips, a nice framework to really wrap things up. So when you're expressing disagreement, when you're saying no, being assertive is what you want. For example, you can listen to the other person and then share your dissenting opinion, but you let them speak. You want to be assertive when you're saying no. You don't want to be aggressive. You don't want to interrupt the other person. You don't want to speak over them. If you're in a group, participating in the dialogue, even if you disagree, sharing ideas, considering ideas, that's assertive. Trying to shut people down, speaking over others, making personal attacks, that's aggressive. That's what you don't want. I took a poll on our morning hero calls, and I'm apparently the only one who's done this. Seeking silence in a movie theater. You've got someone nearby, they won't stop talking. Assertiveness is not putting up with it, not sitting there fuming or leaving the movie. Assertiveness is just leaning over and saying, hey, do you guys keep it down? It's really distracting. We're just trying to enjoy the movie. Aggressiveness, going over and demanding, using swear words, threatening violence, being really loud, and apparently I'm the only one who's done this, throwing candy at them. Tell me in the comments, am I the only one who's done that? Because I have absolutely thrown popcorn or candy at someone who wouldn't stop talking, just, at the back of their head. But apparently I'm the only one. So I'm the jerk. Starbucks, I used to work at Starbucks. One of my first jobs was being a barista. Assertiveness, if you get the wrong drink, just go to the barista and say, hey, excuse me, this doesn't taste right. Aggressiveness, yelling at the barista, man, you're such an idiot. What, is it that hard? You need to remake this. Or literally, and I kid you not, people would do this, throwing your drink at the barista, not acceptable. And I would call the cops on people who did that. It's funny because Starbucks, literally, the baristas are trained. It doesn't matter why. You don't even have to give them a reason why. If you drink it, you try a drink you don't like, and you just taste it. This doesn't. It's not what I like. Hand it back to them. Say, you know what? I'd like to try something else. And the big one, saying no when someone asks for help. Assertive is being direct, declining the request, suggesting someone else who could help them. Aggressiveness, yelling, no, why are you always asking me stuff? I'm too busy. Get out of here. Why would you ask me anyway? You're such a jerk. And what's funny is we do that most to the people who are closest to us, family members, spouses, kids. So let's talk really quickly, almost done here, about postponing. Postponing. So for people who are bad at saying no, this can be a good technique because it gets you out of the situation. It gives you time to formulate what you want to say. So as a baby step, this is good. You can say, you know what, I don't have the bandwidth to figure that out right now. Let me get back to you. On the flip side, if you're postponing because you just feel bad, you're delaying the inevitable and you're actually harming the other person and harming the relationship. Have the integrity to say, you know what, I don't have time to do that. You know what, that's not something I'm available for. Or as one of our morning heroes suggested, you know what, I don't walk that dog, which I love. That's such a great, it's so bizarre that it'll probably make them laugh. So let's say like somebody asks you to help move. My friend Jarvis calls me and says, hey Rick, can you help me move? And I tell him, you know what, let me see what's going on. Well, now Jarvis is going to spend his time thinking, oh, Rick might be available. And he's going to think of ways even more so that he can manipulate me. So I'm opening myself up to a lot of pressure. Oh, because maybe, now he's going to call me, yeah, it's going to be real quick. I'll buy you pizza. If my no is a no, I need to say no to him right away. He may think I'm a jerk. Man, Rick, I really needed you, but at least he can move on and start making other plans. So I'm doing both of us a favor. All right, finally, we're going to go over a quick framework on how to say no without being a jerk. Number one, don't use the word no. The word no, just no, cut and dry. I like it. It can be powerful, but it can come off as abrupt. So instead of just saying no, you can, a lot of other ways to say it. I don't have the bandwidth for that right now. I'm really stuck on other things right now. That's not something I can do right now. That's not something I choose to do right now. There are nicer ways to phrase it than just no. Second tip, show some concern. This one is going to make a real difference. Show some concern for that person with a problem. Man, Jarvis, moving sucks, right? I get it. I hate moving. It's just the worst. Yeah, you got to feel overwhelmed right now. I'm not available to help you do that, but I feel for you. I'm with you in spirit because that is really a tough time. And then the last one, offer an alternative. And it could be offering, maybe throw someone under the bus. Jarvis, I'm not available, but Crystal in our group, she's got a truck and she would be a really good person to hit up for this. Might be passing the buck, but it's also, if you're offering a real solution, don't just, randomly shoot them to someone else. But, I'm not available, but who's really good at doing PowerPoints is this guy. Or someone asks you to take them to the airport at 5 a.m. I'm not willing to get up that early. I need to be focused on my day, but how about you let me call an Uber for you? Let me help you arrange an Uber. Do you have the Uber app? Let me install it on your phone. Offer an alternative. Or, I won't give that presentation for you, but I do have 5 minutes to put the slide deck for you. Offering alternatives or doing a partial help are some other good tips. All right, so wrapping it up, getting into our challenge, I want you to focus on what your vision is. What yes is getting in the way of your vision? What are you saying yes to that's keeping you from pursuing your vision? And what would it look like if you said no? What would the no help you to achieve? And then finally come up with an action plan. Want to hear about it? Contact us. You can get a hold of us directly at themorninghero.com. Let me and Jarvis know what you're up to. Themorninghero.com. Thanks so much, and we'll see you on the next video.